Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, September 13th, 2021 Planning and Development Committee. We have a quorum, and I'm calling the meeting to order. First item we have is, do you have to take the roll? Okay. The first item we have is approval of minutes. Would someone like to make a motion? Because I believe there is a correction that needs to be made in the minutes.
I'll move approval of the minutes from our last regular P&D committee meeting of August 9th, 2021, with one correction that we cross out Alderman Fisk and write in Councilmember Wynn as having convened the meeting and brought us to order.
Is there a second?
Second, and then I have another little correction.
All right. Go ahead, then Alderman, Councilmember Revelle.
It's on page 7 of our packet, I think. Let me see, where is it? Somewhere there were two sets of people who moved approval and seconded approval. I don't know, where did that go? Shoot. Just a minute.
It looks like at the end of item P6.
Was it P6? Okay, yes, P6, I'm sorry, yeah, yes, it's page 7 of our packet, and it's got both Councilmember Revelle moving the item and Kelly seconding the motion, and then it also has Councilmember Reed moving and seconding by Councilmember Newsma, so I think it's the first pair.
Okay. You'd like to make that amendment then? That deletes the second pair? All right.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right.
With those two changes, I am taking the vote on approving the minutes. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Do we need a roll call?
Is there a second there?
Yes, Councilmember Revelle seconded.
Sorry,
All right. But do we need a roll call now? Still?
why don't we just do it?
Okay, we're going to have a roll call, just belt and suspenders.
Councilmember Kelly.
Aye.
Councilmember Newsma.
Aye.
Councilmember Wynn.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
Aye.
Councilmember Suffredin. Councilmember Revelle.
Aye.
Councilmember Reed.
Aye.
All right, thank you all. Next item up is public comment. And we have just one person for public comment tonight?
She signed up for P2, which is
All right. Ms. Lobach, you signed up
Yes.
for P2, but we don't have a P2 on the agenda.
I meant D1.
D1 for discussion?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Can you
Sorry
go
about
ahead?
that.
That's all right.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So I'm Sue Wallbach with Connections for the Homeless and Joining Forces for Affordable Housing. And we're just hoping that for this particular subcommittee that you're going to be talking about, we hope you'll clarify the need for it, as the city already has an Affordable Housing Plan Steering Committee, a Housing and Community Development Committee, a Reparations Committee, a Plan Commission, a Zoning Board of Appeals, and at least 2 First Ward committees, all related to housing. The particular issues that will be discussed as part of this subcommittee, from my understanding, seem to be related to single-family homes being flipped into housing for students. And we hope that as part of your work, if this committee moves forward, you will look at the underlying causes of the conflicts between student and non-student households, which appears to be a lack of appropriate housing for student households. We strongly urge you to engage Northwestern University in the conversation. We also feel that an underlying cause that is driving people to want this subcommittee is that there still isn't really an affordable housing plan in place. A plan is not a list of goals. It's not a study. We're really urging the city to put a plan in place that includes really tangible, specific action steps and processes that are put in place for community input and decision making. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. All right, now we have one item on our agenda tonight. It is approval of the of $115,000 in CDBG-CV funding for childcare scholarships for families impacted by COVID-19. The staff recommends approval of the allocation of up to $115,000 in Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funding for Child Care Network of Evanston to provide scholarships for childcare to families impacted by COVID-19. Up to $100,000 will be used for direct subsidies to home-based and center-based providers in Evanston, and $15,000 will be used for program implementation costs. I'll just go ahead and move approval for this.
Second.
All right. Is there any discussion? All right. Ms. Nyden, would you take the roll? Thank you.
Councilmember Kelly.
Aye.
Councilmember Nusma.
Aye.
Councilmember Wynn.
Aye.
Councilmember Burns.
Aye.
Councilmember Suffredin. Councilmember Ravel.
Aye.
And Councilmember Reed.
It's the CDBG CV funding for childcare scholarships. Okay, all right. By unanimous vote, this item is approved for action, will be sent to the council. Our next item is for discussion. This is discussion of participation in Planning and Development Subcommittee on Housing-Related Issues. We have a staff memo on this recommending the identification of 3 to 4 city council members from our committee to review and discuss specific housing and related matters that have been referred to the subcommittee for additional discussion and consideration. I'm opening the floor to discussion. My lights are not, oh, yes. Councilmember Burns.
Yeah, I will volunteer to sit on this committee. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Councilmember Reed.
I also will volunteer to sit on this committee.
Okay. Councilmember Kelly, and then Ravel.
I will also volunteer to be on this committee.
Okay. Councilmember Ravel.
And I would like to be on the committee as well.
All right. I think we have a committee. Wait, Councilmember Nusma.
Thank you to everyone who volunteered.
Yes. And I agree. I second that. Okay. So I think we should discuss the parameters of the committee and a timeline. So I'm going to open the floor to that as well. I mean, I'll just say that I think that we should have a beginning and an end point in order to make the committee's purpose actually come into fruition. I think that's really critical in order to achieve the goals that we've been discussing about these things. I do think it should also line up with the end of the ADU moratorium so that all of those things tie together neatly. So in order to have that end by the time, have the subcommittee's work done by the time we are looking at the end of the moratorium, assuming it passes, I think we're looking at like a 4-month timeline for the subcommittee, 4-month to 5-month discussion. Councilmember Ravel?
I seem to remember a January date for the ADU moratorium. I think our second meeting in January, so I guess I was thinking, I think the conversation about this subcommittee was sort of definitely timed to coincide with that ADU moratorium.
Okay.
Yeah,
Councilmember Kelly?
yeah, I think we'd said 6 months so I don't know if that starts, but I think that was the idea, was a 6-month time frame.
Right.
So I would say 6 months from, if past this today, 6 months from today, to have it wrapped up and recommendations finalized. Does that sound
That sounds
reasonable?
good.
Okay.
I have Ms. Nyden who would like to say something about the timeline.
One thing to keep in mind is if any changes are recommended, particularly if they relate to the zoning code, that would have to go back to the Plan Commission. So you're going to want to build in a couple months for that. So if you complete your work in the 6 months, the ADU moratorium expires and you have to go to Plan Commission. So there is now time for somebody to potentially make.
There's a gap.
There's a gap. So I would highly encourage this to be complete within the next 3 months. And then you have enough time Because it's not just, oh, we can roll over and turn, we'd have to do staff work on the law side, the zoning and planning side to make sure we have something to bring. There's noticing requirements, 15 to 30, not more than 15, not less than 15, not more than 30 days. So it just, that's still cutting it pretty close. I just want everyone to be aware that there may be time that lapses, that if you make changes, you could run into something. And that assumes that the plan commission would move, which would actually, now we're going to propose a new group, but that group that would move expeditiously as well.
Yeah, so I would say to this committee that probably work backwards from that time, that 6-month time period, figuring out what has to happen at the end in order to achieve the goals, and then work diligently during that time period. Any other thoughts from anyone on that? I see lots of nodding. Councilmember Ravel?
Well, I was just going to suggest that Councilmember Kelly be the chair of the subcommittee.
I accept.
Okay, Councilmember Reed?
I was going to personally ask to be chair. I do think that my 3 colleagues on the committee have a particular thought pattern, and so I think to balance it out a bit, I was going to request to be chair of this committee.
Councilmember Kelly?
I've been immersed in this topic since, during and post the election. So I really feel, I've been collecting documents. We have a workspace. We have a whole committee. And also including, many people who've been working on this jointly as well from the Fifth Ward around affordability, because that is the main focus. We're talking about affordability as well as the integrity of our neighborhoods. And I
Right.
do think
Rather than discuss this here tonight, I think that the 4 members of the committee should convene and then make the selection and then inform the rest of us what the decision is. So I'm sure that you all will get a lot of good work done and come back to us with all of the questions solved, correct? I have faith in you all. Councilmember Burns?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure the discussion of landlord licensing and registration will be included in this. I think it is. There's 2 bullet points that I think it fits in, but I just want to make sure.
That one was accidentally omitted from the memo, but that was referred by by P&D already, so that would be considered. It just was not reflected in the memo, so I
Okay,
apologize
thank
for
you.
that.
Thank you for catching that also, and Ms. Nyden for that as well. All right, is there any other discussion? Councilmember Newsma?
I'm sorry, is the mandate of this subcommittee limited to that which is in the memo with the addition of what we just added, or do they have leeway to add to their scope of work if they've
I think staff would encourage you to stick to what has been referred to this subcommittee. Next Monday, you'll have a meeting about affordable housing in Evanston, and this has been traditionally a quarterly meeting where the council is able to relay policy goals and ideas about affordable housing and housing in Evanston, and then staff can respond accordingly to prepare work or other requested documentation. So if there's a referral of something that somebody wants us to work on, then I think I would encourage you to make the referral versus adding to this, which I think our concern is if you add too much, the things that have been highlighted as very essential and pertinent might not get the time, and we're going to continue to delay the outcomes, which some of these things seem pretty urgent.
Yeah. Councilmember Kelly?
Yeah, I'd say that's fine. I think many other areas will emerge that we just aren't seeing as we engage in discussions. I think we will see other items that we think we need to work on that aren't listed here, but I guess as long as we put them forward as a referral, I suppose that can work.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think concentrating on a fewer number of things and getting the changes made that need to be made, and then moving on after a success would be a good thing to do. All right.
Just procedurally, this committee would be characterized as a short-term committee when it comes to our city council rules,
Yes, it'd be a special subcommittee.
or a special committee. Hopefully-
We need to check with Ms. Nyden, do you know which one? Or Ms. Ruggie, can you enlighten us?
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
But also, we earlier discussed that the council rules somehow don't apply here, so who knows what we're doing.
That is correct. The city council rules have not been adopted by the subcommittees. So traditionally, I know when we did a subcommittee of the rules committee, it was short-term mandated by the goals. So this, I believe, would be the same situation. It would be short-term. I believe you have all set a date of when you would come back, and then the subcommittee can either be extended at that point or dissolved.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Okay, I think that we have discussed these issues quite a bit, and I urge you I urge you on and wish you good success, and we'll be very interested because these are issues that we have had for a long time. So I think now is the time. Yes, we have one more comment from Ms. Nyden.
So just in terms of next steps, staff will reach out to those that have been have self-identified, and we'll figure out a meeting first date. And then for anybody watching, and this will be subject to open meetings, and so we will post. And I anticipate that just procedurally, this will be somewhere on the city's website under boards, committees, commissions, and there'll be information for people who are interested in attending.
All right. Okay. That concludes our agenda tonight, and seeing no more business, I declare this committee adjourned. All right. Thank you all. Thank you, staff. Thank you, volunteers.